Welcome to the SmartKeys podcast. Today we are tearing into the cognitive clutter of the modern professional's desktop. If your morning routine starts with this frantic click fest, jumping across 8 different browser tabs just to figure out what's on your calendar, your tasks, your analytics, you are already playing defense before you've even had your first coffee.
Right.
We call that tab overload, and it's just a systemic drain on your focus. So our source material for this deep dive: productivity dashboard template. Create a hub for tracking your goals. It's not just a list of widgets. It's really more of a blueprint for cognitive efficiency.
That's exactly right. Our mission here is built for you, the professional who needs knowledge quickly and thoroughly, but, also needs to execute on that knowledge with some clarity. We're unpacking how to design a singular, focused command center that turns that scattered mess into a clear, predictable, and a highly effective morning routine.
And the pain of tab overload is so real, and it's expensive. I mean, you're losing crucial minutes just chasing context. And every single time you switch application environments, your brain is forced into a full context reset. It just kills your momentum before noon.
And that's exactly what this strategy is built to combat. The strategic vision is, well, it's pretty simple. Turn one single tab into the most important place you open. And make sure that hub defines a layout where, the next step is obvious. It removes all the guesswork from your morning. It's one single source of truth for everything that matters that day.
Okay, let's unpack this then. We're all busy. What is the real strategic justification for spending time to set this dashboard up right now? What's the core value?
It's an investment in sustainable clarity. The core argument is that centralizing your data removes cognitive load. It turns a reactive environment into a proactive one. When you consolidate those views, your schedule, your tasks, your analytics, you unlock 3 key immediate benefits that pay back that setup time tenfold.
Okay, let's walk through those 3 because they sound foundational.
First, you drastically cut down on context switching. And think of context switching as like a tax you pay every time you jump from your calendar to your email to your project tracker. By putting snapshots of all 3 on one screen, you eliminate the physical act of tab swapping, but more importantly, you eliminate the mental effort required to recall where you left off.
So it's not just about saving the click, it's about saving that memory retrieval time. That's the real killer of focus.
Precisely. Which brings us to benefit number 2, protecting deep work.
Okay.
Less tab interaction means fewer opportunities for interruption. When your day begins with a defined plan just staring you in the face, you're less likely to wander into those time sinks like, checking headlines when you meant to check your sales trends.
Right.
Your workspace actually guides you toward focused creation, not just consumption.
And the third benefit, spotting blockers early.
Yes. A consolidated view acts as a daily intelligence briefing. You instantly see scheduling conflicts. Maybe that crucial prep time you needed is now blocked by a meeting.
Ah, I see.
Or you spot a sudden negative trend in your analytics, maybe a dip in conversion rates. If you see that information instantly, you can adjust your day before those small issues become major problems.
I can totally see how jumping between Google Calendar, a tool like Linear, an analytics platform like Metabase, and then sneaking in a glance at TechMeme, it just forces your brain into a complete reset every minute.
Because this dashboard stops that fragmentation. The goal is to see everything that requires attention instantly. The source material really emphasizes pulling these visual snapshots from those key tools into one consolidated view. It becomes your operational launchpad.
That strategic value is crystal clear, but building a dashboard can feel like setting up this massive, heavy new system. How do we start planning this hub without getting, overwhelmed?
Well, the initial planning stage is actually the most critical step, and counterintuitively, it has to start away from the tools.
Away from the tools?
Yes. Planning step 1 is don't start with the app widgets. Start with the results.
That makes a huge difference in mindset.
It does. Define 2 or 3 result-focused goals first. Something like increase project throughput by 15%, or ensure marketing pipeline velocity is above X. Once you have the goal, then you pick the few measurements, the metrics, the KPIs, that show progress. Daily, weekly, monthly. This keeps your view tied to real performance, not just overwhelming noise.
So you define the outcome, and then you translate those goals into the specific data sources. If my goal is high sales velocity, I need a compact Metabase widget tracking that one key metric.
Exactly.
If the goal is project completion, I need a view of my active items in Linear.
You've got it. You're mapping your business goals directly to the apps you already use, and that forces discipline on what you choose to display. And this leads right into the core layout principle. Keep it lean. If a widget doesn't actively drive an action or inform a critical decision, you move it to a secondary view, or, better yet, you just scrap it.
That's the hard part.
It is, but this consistent naming and ordering is what allows your eyes to scan the page in under 5 seconds and know exactly where to focus.
I really struggle with that keep it lean principle. My brain defaults to clutter. How do I enforce that discipline when I'm tempted to add every metric I can think of?
You enforce the 5-second rule.
The 5-second rule.
Yeah. When we talk about the core components, the rule is to pick a handful of live modules that surface what needs attention in under 5 seconds. If you have to scroll or spend 10 seconds trying to interpret a graph, it fails the test.
Okay, walk us through the ideal 5-second flow for those core components.
We order the layout to mimic a typical workday. So first, schedule and meetings. A concise snapshot of today's Google Calendar. You need to spot meeting gaps and, crucially, protected focus time. Second, work tracking. Pull your top 3 to 5 tasks from your project management app, whether that's Linear, Asana, whatever.
And it has to be just the top tasks, right? Not the entire backlog.
Precisely. It must be a single prioritized column of what has to move today. It's for action, not backlog storage. Third, performance and analytics. A compact widget from Metabase or Google Analytics for monitoring just one key metric that relates to your goal.
Okay, so visible but not overwhelming.
Exactly. Then fourth, reading and research. A short, highly curated feed from TechMeme or Feedly. The purpose is to stay current, but it has to be short enough that it doesn't become a productivity black hole.
A rabbit hole.
A total rabbit hole. You read 2 headlines, absorb the context, and move on.
And then you have the humanizing element, the context cards.
Yes, and these are vital. They shift the page from like a cold data sheet into a friendly, focused home base. This is where you put your local weather, a simple clock, a friendly greeting, maybe a short motivational quote. They just ground your energy.
Here's where it gets really interesting for me. We've established the components, but how do we make this hub truly actionable and minimize that setup friction, the thing that usually kills these projects?
Right.
Historically, integrating data from Linear and Metabase requires API keys and a developer, which, most of us don't have time for.
That is the classic challenge. And we combat that friction in 2 ways: intentionality and technology. For intentionality, we start by turning your browser's new tab page into the starting line. Using tools like Momentum, you replace the default clutter with a distraction-free page.
And within that focused home base, the source emphasizes setting a daily intention, which I think is so powerful.
Absolutely. The dashboard has to include a daily focus prompt, something that asks, what is your main focus for today? See, that every morning before the chaos hits, it just anchors your focus.
We also talked about the constraints on the to-do list component.
Right. The to-dos are for immediate action, not storage. They should be short, reorderable, and contain only today's tasks. And then you can layer in focus aids, calming themes, ambient sounds, a built-in focus timer like a Pomodoro cycle, right from your command center.
It's all about that intentionality and protecting those small moments of concentrated effort. That insight from the source really resonates. Small, repeatable sessions beat endless, unfocused time blocks.
And that leads perfectly into solving the setup friction, using modern tech specifically, this concept of snapshots.
Okay.
You mentioned the API complexity, and that's why these snapshots are such a revolutionary concept for the average knowledge worker.
Can you elaborate on what a snapshot is in this context?
Sure. So instead of requiring heavy custom API connections, tools that support snapshots, like Plus, let you capture a live visual view of a chart or a table or a metric from its source app, Google Calendar, Linear, whatever, and just drop it onto your dashboard.
So I'm not integrating the actual data structure. I'm basically taking a living picture of the data tile I care about from the original app.
That's it.
And placing that picture on my hub.
Exactly. The visual tile mirrors the source, and the data updates automatically. This means zero heavy setup. You eliminate the need for custom coding, you get the critical information without all that maintenance overhead.
And the benefit of this frictionless system is its adaptability, I assume.
Immense adaptability. Goals evolve, priorities shift. With snapshots, you can swap widgets in seconds. Running a big product launch. Instantly add a campaign analytics view, launch ends, remove it. The management overhead stays incredibly low, which is key to preventing, dashboard decay.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, this is about more than just one person being efficient. What does this mean for the business, for team efficiency? This is where that exponential value kicks in.
It fundamentally changes team dynamics. When everyone starts their day seeing the same morning snapshot, everyone is operating from a shared reality. Decisions move faster, and crucially, meetings shrink.
Right.
You eliminate that first 15 minutes of status updates and the constant question, can someone pull up the latest numbers?
Because everyone is already aligned around the facts before the stand-up even starts.
Precisely. You build a single shared page highlighting the team's schedule, the top 3 collective tasks for the day, and 1 or 2 KPIs that matter most that week.
Yeah.
It standardizes what great work looks like for the whole team.
And it sounds like this centralization also solves some of those departmental silos.
It does, by standardizing communication. You use standard project tiles and status labels so that teams across different functions, engineering, marketing, sales, are all reading the same language. No more confusing jargon.
But how do we make sure that shared view stays accurate, that it doesn't just fall into disrepair and require one person to babysit it all day?
You build in ownership and automation. So you delegate section ownership to the people closest to the actual work. The product manager owns the linear snapshot. The analyst owns the metabase tile. They're responsible for their piece of the truth.
And then we automate the distribution so the alignment is asynchronous.
Exactly. You use that snapshot technology to automate a visual summary subscription. That summary gets sent to Slack or Teams every morning. No more manual screenshots.
And embedding that same snapshot into, say, Notion pages or Google Slides also keeps stakeholders aligned regardless of time zone. The source of truth is just everywhere.
That is the strategic takeaway. Use these shared embeds as the definitive source of truth for stand-ups. Your meeting agenda becomes simple. Check the schedule, discuss blockers revealed by the snapshot, analyze the metric deltas. The meeting stays short and focused on resolution, not reporting. As the source material puts it so well, align around facts, not anecdotes. Let the shared view drive your stand-ups.
That sentiment really captures the shift we need in modern business. So what does this all mean for you, the listener? What's the final instruction to get started?
Well, the aim is steady progress, not launching some perfect, fully featured system on day one. Just design a simple, friendly hub you will actually open every morning and use to get real work done. The power here is that it's repeatable and adaptable, but it has to become a habit first.
The practical goal is just simplicity. Make your morning scans so quick it becomes a habit you actually keep. Start each day with those 3 non-negotiables that appear right when you open your browser.
One clear priority, a short list of tasks that must move today, and a tiny performance tile that shows whether you're on track. That's it. Track your daily completion and track the time you spend on that one top priority.
And that tracking component brings us to the final provocative thought about self-improvement.
Right. Don't just track your business metrics. Use the dashboard data to analyze your own time allocation. Focus on tracking daily time spent on your top priority versus time spent on, say, administrative overhead or reactive tasks. If your data shows you spent 3 hours on admin when you planned for 1, your dashboard just revealed a fundamental process flaw in your workflow that needs fixing. Use that data to adjust how you spend your time to boost your overall performance.
That is a deep dive into the blueprint for a productively optimized professional life and a smarter team. Thank you for tuning into the SmartKeys podcast. If you're ready to stop drowning in scattered tabs and finally build your own single command center, make sure you subscribe to the podcast for more deep dives into the future of work and productivity strategies. We covered specific tools and lightweight widgets today, and you can find the link to the full article, Productivity Dashboard Template. Create a hub for tracking your goals in the show notes. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.